Hi, I'm Dave Huxtable and I'm fascinated by languages and language learning. In this video, I'm looking at exonyms, names for places used by people who come from somewhere else. In English, we used to say lions, Marseilles and Leghorn, but now we say Lyon, Marseille and Livorno. We still call Milano Milan, Venezia Venice, Firenze Florence, Köln Cologne, München Munich, Göteborg Gothenburg, Copenhagen Copenhagen, Krungtep Bangkok and Cardiff. When deciding what to call a foreign place, there are several options. You can have a stab at using the local name, adapting it to your language's sound system as necessary. That's what English and many other languages do increasingly these days. Or you can go with what someone else calls it. For example, many of the English names for Italian cities come from French: Rome, Venise, Florence, Naples, Milan, etc. Another option is to look at the meaning of the name in the local language and translate that into your own. The archipelago at the southern tip of South America, Tierra del Fuego, is almost always called Tierra del Fuego in English. Many other languages call it their version of Fireland. Feuerland in German, Terre de Feu in French, Terra del Fuoco in Italian, Ognienная Земля in Russian, Huodi in Chinese, Vuurland in Dutch, etc. Oxford in Chinese is Nyojin, meaning cow crossing, as in ox, ford. The city gets the same treatment in Irish and Welsh, with Anna Now and Rhydychen, meaning ford of the oxen. That's actually a bit chicken and eggy, in that the Old English Oxnaford might well have been a loan translation or calque of an older Brythonic Celtic name. Cambridge in Chinese is Jianqiao. Qiao means bridge, and Jian is the transliteration of the name of the River Cam. Chinese often does that when transliterating foreign words and names. It uses the ancient pronunciation of some characters to assign them. Jian means sword. In Middle Chinese, it was pronounced Qian, which is what Chinese people in the 6th century might have called the Cam if they'd heard of it, especially if they'd ask a Jamaican how to say it. Cambridge. Every now and then, a foreign place is so significant to a culture that it gets its own new name in that language. The California Gold Rush of 1849 led to a huge influx of Chinese miners and prospectors. That's how San Francisco earned the name Zhoujinshan, Old Gold Mountain, or Gaogam-san in Cantonese, as many of the settlers were from Guangdong. A few years later, discovery of gold in the Australian state of Victoria led to similar immigration from China, earning Melbourne the name Xinjinshan or Sangam-san, New Gold Mountain. Sometimes different places end up with the same name in some languages. In English, there's a city called Valence in France and one called Valencia in Spain. In French, they're both called Valence, and in Spanish, they're both called Valencia. In Italian, Monaco and Munich are both called Monaco. To differentiate the two, you have to say Il Principato di Monaco for the Principality and Monaco di Baviera for the capital of Bavaria or Bayern. In Bavarian or Bayerisch, the city is apparently called Minga. Sometimes spelling makes exonyms look more exotic than they really are, like Polish Rzym for Rome, Vesuvius for Vesuvius, and Ulich for Woolwich. As I said earlier, there's a tendency for historic exonyms to fall into disuse and be replaced with the local name or endonym. Only the most frequently used and familiar exonyms remain. In the UK, London still has lots of names in different languages. Londres, Londres, Londra, Llundain, Lundun, as does Edinburgh. Edinburgh in English, Edinburgh in American, Edinburgh, Edinburgh, Edimburgo, Edinburgh, Dunedin, Caeredin, etc. Some surprising places have had exonyms in the past which have now fallen into disuse. Dutch used to have some fun names for some UK places, such as Noordwijk for Norwich, Yarmouden for Yarmouth, and Scharenburg for Scarborough. Some of the original European names for places in the US come from Dutch too. Breukelen for Brooklyn, Staten Island for Staten Island, and Groenwijk for Greenwich. Icelandic had some cool names too. Goðvidra for Buenos Aires, Carntaraburg for Canterbury, Southampton for Southampton, Yarnamóða for Yarmouth, and Jorvik for York. What's your favourite foreign name for a city? How does your language deal with foreign place names? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Check out these other videos for a humorous and informed look at all things language related. Bye for now.